When you wake up in the morning, your body is either in motion or in stagnation, and that decision will shape the momentum of your entire day. Priming your physiology means taking command of your physical state from the very first moment you open your eyes. It's not about running a marathon or hitting the gym for an hour. This is about movement that activates energy, awakens your nervous system, and signals to your brain that it's time to engage with life at full throttle. The truth is, your emotions follow your motion. If you want to feel alive, confident, and driven, you must first move like someone who is alive, confident, and driven. Most people roll out of bed sluggish, check their phones, scroll through other people's lives, and wonder why they feel anxious, distracted, or defeated before breakfast. That's not a ritual, that's a reaction. Winners don't react, they initiate. And the first thing they initiate is motion. Something as simple as a deep breathing pattern, a few minutes of high-energy movement, jumping jacks, stretches, or a power walk can completely change your state. You're not just moving your body, you're shifting your chemistry, your heart rate, your hormonal balance. You're literally telling your brain, "We're not in survival today, we're here to conquer." Why is this so powerful? Because your body is the fastest gateway to changing how you feel. If you sit slumped over with shallow breaths, your brain believes you're under threat. But if you breathe deeply, stand tall, move your limbs with purpose, and put intensity into your posture, your brain starts producing the chemicals of confidence, focus, and certainty. That's not motivation, that's biology. That's not positive thinking, it's physical leadership. You're taking the wheel, not waiting for life to drive for you. This is why so many high performers start their day with movement rituals. It's not just fitness, it's preparation. They're not working out because they have time, they're making time because they understand the cost of starting slow. They prime their bodies like warriors sharpening a blade before battle. And that blade is focus. That blade is energy. That blade is presence. Once your physiology is in the right state, everything else gets easier. Your thoughts become clearer. Your mood lifts. Your mind is ready to absorb and act, not react and retreat. The morning isn't the time to negotiate with yourself. It's not the time to ask, "Do I feel like it?" That question kills momentum. The answer should be automatic. You get up and you move. You move before your excuses can speak. You move before doubt creeps in. You move because your life depends on your energy, and your energy depends on your motion. This isn't about intensity, it's about intentionality. Whether it's 5 minutes or 50, the goal is the same. Take control of your physical state, and your emotional state will fall in line. Every morning, your mind is like a blank canvas, and what you choose to put on it determines the emotional tone, focus, and direction of your day. Most people wake up and immediately reach for their phones. They scroll through social media, check emails, watch the news, all before they've even had a glass of water. And what they're doing, without realizing it, is feeding their mind with fear, comparison, judgment, and chaos. They're letting the outside world hijack their inner world before they've even had a chance to set their own intentions. That's like starting a race already 10 steps behind. What you feed your mind in the first hour of your day is sacred. That's your foundation. That's your mental nutrition. And just like your body can't thrive on junk food, your mind can't thrive on junk input. If you fill your head with drama, outrage, and noise, don't be surprised when your emotions spiral, your focus fades, and your energy collapses by mid-morning. You've allowed your morning to be programmed by someone else's agenda. That's not how leaders live. That's not how creators operate. That's how consumers react. To unlock your full potential, you must start your day by feeding your mind with truth, clarity, and power. That might mean listening to an empowering podcast, reading a few pages from a book that challenges you to grow, or simply sitting in silence and reflecting on your purpose. The point is, you are choosing what goes in. You are curating your inner world, just like an artist carefully chooses each color. And over time, those choices create your emotional landscape. This isn't about pretending life is perfect or avoiding reality. It's about training your focus. Because your focus is like a flashlight. Wherever you point it, that's what becomes brighter. So if you start your day focused on possibility, gratitude, discipline, and growth, those qualities will expand. Your problems won't vanish, but you'll meet them with a stronger mindset. You'll be grounded instead of triggered. You'll be proactive instead of reactive. This practice is not a luxury. It's not something you do when you have extra time. It's a non-negotiable if you're serious about living at a higher standard. If you want to be a peak performer, you have to treat your mind like the most valuable asset you own, because it is. And the way you treat it starts the moment you wake up. You can either flood it with doubt, distraction, and drama, or you can fuel it with insight, inspiration, and clarity. That choice determines your emotional state. And your emotional state determines how you show up, for your goals, for your relationships, for your life. The mind is always hungry. The only question is, what are you feeding it every morning, before the emails flood in, before the meetings start, before the to-do list screams for attention? There's a sacred window, a small but powerful moment where you get to decide the quality of your day. In that moment, most people rush into action. They start thinking about what they need to accomplish, what they're behind on, or what the world expects from them. But the true power lies in doing something different. Before you chase progress, stop and practice gratitude. Not as a cliché, not as a feel-good gesture, but as a strategic way to build emotional strength and mental clarity. Gratitude isn't just a spiritual concept, it's a neurological tool. When you practice gratitude, you shift your brain's focus away from what's lacking and onto what's working. And this isn't about ignoring problems, it's about recognizing that even in the chaos, there is always something going right. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are breathing. You have the power to choose. That shift in focus sends a powerful message to your nervous system. I am safe. I am enough. I have what it takes. When you practice gratitude first thing in the morning, you prime your mind to see opportunity instead of obstacles. You're not just saying thank you for the sake of saying it. You're anchoring your identity in a state of abundance. That matters. Because when you operate from abundance, your decisions are different. Your energy is lighter. You become more resourceful, more resilient, and more magnetic to solutions. Gratitude calms the noise in your mind and centers you in what really matters. Now, contrast that with someone who skips this ritual. They wake up and immediately feel pressure. Their thoughts race toward problems. They operate in survival mode. They react, they push, they grind, but deep down they feel empty. That's what happens when you chase goals without grounding. It's like building a house on sand. No matter how hard you work, nothing feels stable. That's why gratitude must come before goals, because gratitude creates the emotional foundation that goals are built on. You can still want more. You can still be hungry. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean settling. It means you recognize the value of what you already have, and from that place of strength, you go after what's next. The strongest warriors aren't the ones who are angry. They're the ones who are centered. Gratitude gives you that center. It keeps your heart aligned with your mission, even when the world pulls you in 100 directions. You don't need hours, just a few minutes each morning. 3 things you're truly grateful for, spoken out loud, written down, or felt deeply. Not surface-level gratitude, but something that stirs your soul. Maybe it's a person you love, a challenge that grew you, or simply the gift of being alive. This simple act rewires your brain. It trains you to look for what's right before obsessing over what's missing. There's a reason the most successful people on the planet don't start their day with randomness. They start with intention. They don't just hope to have a good day, they design it. And that design begins with clarity. You can't hit a target you can't see, and most people drift through their mornings with vague thoughts, scattered focus, and no clear direction. That's not living, that's reacting. Intention setting is about making a conscious decision to take command of your focus, your energy, and your outcomes before the world tries to do it for you. The moment you wake up, your brain is highly impressionable. It's coming out of a state where the subconscious mind has been in control. This is your opening. This is the window where you can install the programming for the day. If you don't install your own program, you'll default to someone else's. Your inbox, your social feed, your coworkers. Everyone has an agenda for your time. But if you set your own intention early, you create a force field around your day. You decide how you want to show up. You decide what energy you bring. You decide what matters most. Setting intention isn't complicated. It's about asking powerful questions. Who do I need to be today? What's one thing I will commit to no matter what? Where do I want my energy to flow? This is not the same as setting a to-do list. A to-do list is external, it's task-based. Intention is internal, it's identity-based. It's declaring how you will show up even when things go sideways. Because they will. The day will throw distractions, frustrations, and surprises at you. But when you're clear on your intention, you respond with purpose, not panic. People underestimate the power of this practice because it seems simple. But simple does not mean small. The mind craves direction. It wants to follow a leader, and if you don't lead it, it will wander. Setting an intention first thing in the morning acts like a compass. It orients your internal state toward the outcomes you want. You become proactive instead of reactive. You act instead of overthink. You move with clarity instead of confusion. And when things get tough, your intention becomes your anchor. It brings you back to center. Let's say your intention is to lead with patience today. That's not just a thought, it becomes a filter. Every challenge that comes up is now filtered through that lens. You don't snap, you don't spiral, you breathe. You stay grounded. That's power. Or maybe your intention is courage. That means you take the shot you've been avoiding. You make the call, send the message, have the conversation. Because you told yourself first thing this morning, this is who I am today. And your brain remembers that. You've primed your identity before the world could shape it for you. Intention gives your actions depth. It's not about being busy, it's about being aligned. It transforms routine tasks into meaningful steps. It's not just waking up and going through the motions. It's waking up and choosing to lead your life, instead of letting life lead you. Your body is not separate from your mind. It's the amplifier of your emotional state, your energy, and your performance. And yet, so many people wake up and completely ignore the vessel that carries them through every moment of the day. They go straight from bed to phone to coffee to stress. No movement, no breath, no activation. And then they wonder why they feel sluggish, anxious, or disconnected by noon. It's not a mystery. The body hasn't been given a chance to wake up, to fire, to align with the demands of the day. You can't operate at a peak level when your body is still asleep. Movement in the morning isn't just about fitness. It's about state. When you move, you change your physiology. And when you change your physiology, you change your psychology. Your posture shifts, your breathing deepens, your heart rate rises, and your brain starts firing differently. Blood flows to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, focus, and emotional regulation. You literally prime yourself to think more clearly, to feel more powerful, and to act more decisively. That's not motivation. That's science. You don't need to run a marathon. You don't need to spend an hour in the gym. You just need to move with intensity and presence. That might be a brisk walk, a set of push-ups, a few minutes of jumping jacks, or a short yoga flow. The method doesn't matter. The intention does. You're telling your body, "Wake up, I need you, let's go." That simple signal creates momentum, and momentum is the secret weapon of the morning. It's not about being in shape, it's about being in state. Movement gets you there faster than anything else. When you start your day with movement, you're not just waking up your muscles, you're training your nervous system. You're conditioning your mind to associate mornings with energy, power, and action. Over time, this becomes automatic. Your body becomes a tool, not a burden. And when challenges arise later in the day, as they always do, you have a physical foundation of strength to meet them. You're not running on fumes, you're running on fuel. There's also an emotional shift that happens when you move early in the day. You break inertia. You prove to yourself that you're in control. That confidence carries over. You speak differently. You walk into rooms with a different presence. People feel it. And more importantly, you feel it. You're not dragging yourself through the day, you're driving it. That shift starts with the first drop of sweat, the first deep breath, the first choice to engage your body instead of numb it. Energy is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you generate. And the most effective way to generate it is through physical movement. You don't wait for motivation. You create it through motion. You don't wait to feel better, you move to feel better. This is the gateway to unlocking your power. When your body is engaged, your emotions follow, your focus sharpens, and your mindset strengthens. Most people let the world dictate their emotional state. They wake up and immediately check the news, scroll through social media, or dive into work messages. And with each swipe, click, or headline, their emotions are pulled in 100 different directions. But the most powerful people in the world don't allow that. They take command of their emotions before the world has a chance to shape them. They build emotional resilience by conditioning their mindset daily. And one of the most effective ways to do that is through visualization and powerful affirmations. This isn't wishful thinking. This is about training your nervous system to respond, as if your desired outcomes are already on the way. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. So when you visualize success, strength, and certainty with intensity and clarity, your body responds. Your mind sharpens, your energy aligns. You start stepping into the version of yourself that's capable of creating the life you want. Not someday, but today. Visualization is not about escape, it's about rehearsal. You are rehearsing victory, so when the moment arrives, you're not surprised, you're ready. Every morning is a blank canvas, and the first images you paint in your mind become the emotional blueprint for the rest of the day. If you imagine worst-case scenarios, your body reacts with stress, fear, and hesitation. But if you consciously choose to visualize the best-case outcomes, you build a state of courage, creativity, and action. You start your day not just with a to-do list, but with a vision. That vision pulls you forward. It gives your actions context. It fuels your choices with emotion, and emotion is what drives behavior. Now add affirmations to that process, and you ignite something even more powerful. Words have energy. When you speak them with belief and conviction, you don't just hear them, you feel them. And when you feel them, they begin to shape your identity. I am focused, I am strong, I am unstoppable. These aren't just nice phrases, they're commands to your subconscious. They're reminders of what's already inside you. And when repeated consistently, they override the old stories, the self-doubt, the noise. They anchor you in a new truth. The key is intensity. Don't mumble your affirmations. Don't whisper your vision. Speak it out loud, see it in detail, involve your body, engage your emotion. You are conditioning your brain to believe in the future before it happens. That's what leaders do. That's what champions do. They create the emotional state that success requires. Before success shows up, they don't wait for evidence. They become the evidence. And it all starts in the morning, when the rest of the world is still asleep, and you are choosing who you will be. This ritual doesn't take hours. It takes intention. A few minutes of focused, emotional visualization. A handful of affirmations said with power and certainty. This is your reset button. This is how you armor yourself mentally and emotionally before you step into the world. You don't let the outside world decide how you feel. You decide how you feel, and then you bring that energy to everything you do.